here at Brainerd International Raceway for Superbikes at Brainerd. It is round number 4 of the 10th anniversary season of the MotoAmerica Championship, and we have a full stack slate of racing still left to unfold. It is time now for the BellissiMoto Twins Cup, race number 2 here from Brainerd. And yesterday, it was an exciting race with Rocco Landers being able to repeat the victory that he tasted back at Road America. Welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Jamie Howe, joined by Roger Hayden. And Roger, we talk about Rocco. Can you stop him?
That's the thing, you know, is just he took over the points. He has the confidence. He's winning races back to back. So those guys are gonna. There's only a couple races left in this Twins Cup season, so these guys don't want to get Rocco too far out in front. So I think they really need to get a win today, slow that momentum down, and claw back some points.
You say there's only a couple of races left. After the race today, we only have 2 races remaining. 1 round of competition left for BellissiMoto Twins Cup. That's going to come Circuit of the Americas, and Rocco's carrying the momentum.
He's locked in right now, and I mean, it's just every bike that he's on right now, he's battling for wins, and Rocco figured this bike out. He loves the Twins Cup. I think he got some wins and got some confidence, and we see the highlights from yesterday's race 1. Rocco on pole position there, Alessandro DiMario front row as well, but you can see Rossi Moore on the Suzuki as well, able to get a really good start early on into this race. Alessandro DiMario, Gus Rodeo there as well. Rocco made one mistake in the race early on down into turn 3. 4 ran a little bit wide, was able to make the draft pass Rossi early on into turn 1. And from there, Rossi Moore was trying to hang on. Alessandro DiMario, all these riders were trying to go with Rocco, but he was just a couple tenths a lap quicker. You see the battle for the second and third here with Rossi Moore having a really solid ride. Rocco not putting the wheel wrong after that first mistake early on. End of the race, and Rossi Moore right here making a move on Alessandro DiMario, trying to make it stick as the laps were winding down. You can see in the background he goes to try to make the pass on the inside of the last corner, kind of snuck in there, but it was about Rocco getting that win. The battle for second and third was on. Alessandro DiMario was able to sneak by Rossi Moore right there at the line to get second.
For Rocco Landers, that was a 3.8 second lead that he had over second place of Alessandro DiMario. So a little bit of a gap, some work to do overnight for those teams, but when everyone came out for morning warm-up, you could tell based off of how close they were out on the racetrack that work had been done.
Yeah, and those guys are fighting hard, you know, just trying to get out there, make those changes overnight and get out there and see this morning, were those changes the right direction or did we go the wrong way?
This is the deciding lap. These riders have all left pit lane. They're coming around the racetrack to be able to get into their grid positions before we get ready for the warm-up lap. So let's take a look at the championship point standings and the way they all stack up after yesterday. Rocco Landers in the lead with 160 points, but you see how close it is. Alessandro DiMario, who's been able to win this season, finished on the podium 6 times himself. He's sitting right there in second.
Yeah, and only 14 points back. So if he can win today and go on a good run, just have another solid podium finish, he'll be able to, you know, go down to the last round with a chance. Gus Rodeo and Dominic Doyle as well. They're able to have a good weekend today and see what happens.
We do reward points up through 15th place. So if any of these riders today, the 17 of them that are out there on the racetrack, can finish inside the top 15, they're going to go home with at least 1 point. See everyone still making their way around this racetrack to get back to the grid position. We can get ready for the warm-up lap, and then you just have a couple of moments. Roger, as the rider, what are you thinking about this close to go time?
Right now you're just trying to, you know, make sure you get enough heat in the tires and the brakes, and just really, you haven't been on the track from this morning, so you're also kind of trying to wake your brain up a little bit to get used to the speeds that, you know, you've been setting around, and then come out here to track with the long straightaways. You're just trying to get up to speed as fast as possible. You don't get a lot of time to do it.
It's Rocco, the pole sitter, first rider to pull into his grid position there, and this is a quick start procedure here this weekend. So each of the riders, they have 1 crew member that's meeting them out there. It's a little different than normal in terms of what your pre-race routine would be like. You don't get to talk to everybody. It's just that 1 crew member.
See Gus Rodeo there as well in the front row. Gus, man, started the season so strong, and this ever since the last couple of races, man, so much bad luck has come their way. They're trying to fight their way out of it, still keep themselves in this championship hunt. A win today would go long for that.
You see right there in the middle of the screen, the 99, that's Avery Dreyer. If you were with us this morning in the morning warm-up, Avery Dreyer did have a bit of a moment right at the end of that warm-up session, and the team had to work on the bike, but you can see that Avery's back out there. He did not go out for the Junior Cup warm-up session that immediately followed, but the team went to work, and Avery looks like he's recovered enough to put himself back up there and just go for it.
BellissiMoto Twins Cup is brought to you by BellissiMoto, where the biggest names in custom bike building shop for parts. And by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Here live at Brainerd International Raceway, warm-up lap now underway. Roger, the riders, they all have something to say about this racetrack. It's certainly challenging for even the best of riders. Take us around the 2.5-mile circuit.
And the first part of this track on these Twin Cup bike, it says turns 1 and 2, but it is wide open for those guys down into turn 3, 4, 5, 6. Flows really well together into the almost like a carousel, really long right-hander. Tight chicane on the exit of that to 10, 11, which is really fast. We've seen Avery have his mistake there this morning. Turn 12, hard braking. We've seen most of the guys making their passes through there into 13 onto the front straightaway. You can see right there how tight that left-hander is. It's where most of the action was made yesterday.
Live looks here at Brainerd International Raceway as this warm-up lap is underway, and you see Dominic Doyle there with Avery Dreyer. Gus Rodeo coming through. Take a look at the starting grid. Rocco Landers, our pole sitter over Alessandro Di Mario, and Gus Rodeo on the front row.
Yeah, Rossi Moore, great qualifying there on the second row. Avery Dreyer, Dominic Doyle.
And Jack Roach, Shannon Varsky had a good run yesterday, and Jeff Bean back on row number 3.
Jeffrey Pert, Joseph Bittner, and Romeo Chiavini is going to try to have a better ride today.
Take a look at row number 5. You got Bryce DeBoer, Graham Williams, and Sean Morris there with Rodney Vess and Nathan Jessup rounding out the field. 17 riders who are ready for this race number 2 of the BellissiMoto Twins Cup. I mentioned that crash from Avery Dreyer. Let's take a look back at it from this morning, Roger.
Yeah, just pushing. There was only about a minute left in the warm-up this morning. He's going through there. He's right behind Rossi Moore, trying to get a good lap in, said to rear end. Came around on him really fast before he had an opportunity to save it, and the bike didn't flip too much. Avery looks like he's up and okay.
All right, this is back live now. You can see we are ready for the start of this race. The lights are on, revs are up, lights out. It's time to race here. Race number 2 for BellissiMoto Twins Cup at Brainerd International Raceway.
Looks like a carbon copy of yesterday's start. Rocco with a really good launch, and Rossi Moore from the second row able to come up there pretty quick and try to challenge, but Alessandro Di Mario able to make the move down into turn 2.
He certainly had some momentum coming through. Rocco Landers right there. He said, I don't think so. This one's mine to control, and he's trying to get the lead back.
He wants to get the lead, and also Alessandro Di Mario does not want to let Rocco lead. They know the pace that he has, so you can see how aggressive he was early on in that race.
We were missing a couple of riders that make the start. Jack Roach and Sean Morris, neither one of them were out there. So 15 riders will be shown on your scoring screen as Rocco Landers.
Man, that started in the turn before when Di Mario made a really good lunge on Rocco Landers, and Rocco pushed him a little bit wide and came back.
So replay on the left-hand side of your screen.
See, look at Rocco coming in there from deep. If Alessandro didn't pick up the bike, they would probably not have stayed on the track. But, you know, Rocco's been aggressive early, but it opened up the door for the guys behind him.
You saw Rocco look over his shoulders. After that, what was it he was looking for, you think?
I think he was just looking over to, you know, hopefully know that he didn't knock him down and just kind of give him a look.
And Rossi Moore there at the head of this pack with Rocco right behind him, and then Avery Dreyer has been able to get himself to 3rd.
Yeah, great rebound from Avery after that crash this morning. In that warm-up there, and you can see Rocco making a pass for the lead down into turn 1, where Rocco is so fast through turns 1 and 2.
We were watching the lap charts early on, and this first part of the racetrack is where Rocco is just so incredibly fast. He has so much over the rest of the field, but they're able to catch up with him a bit on the second part.
Just the confidence through there. You see Alessandro now has made the pass on Avery right there behind his teammate now. he's going to have to make quick work if he wants to try to catch those front two guys.
Just like that, Gus Rodeo and Alessandro DiMario are able to put Avery Dreyer back down into 5th. This is the battle for 3rd right now between Gus Rodeo and Alessandro.
And Alessandro's got a little bit more pace right now. No needing to make that pass really quick. You can see Rossi Moore and Rocco pulling away. I can promise you, Alessandro DiMario wants to catch back up to Rocco and return the favor.
Rocco said yesterday that he needed a good start and be able to stretch out that gap the same way that he did, because when he can control the race, he feels like nobody else can catch him.
And he just gets stronger as the race goes on as well. Rocco has struggled this year early on in the races and been so fast at the end. And now he's starting to figure out the first couple laps, but he's not pulling away quite like he was yesterday. Rossi's doing a great job, and so is Alessandro DiMario trying to latch on to Rocco. We see Avery Dreyer.
It's an issue for Avery. You see him shaking his head. Doesn't seem like he can get it back under power. Big disappointment for Avery Dreyer.
Yeah, just tough day, and you just see the frustration for that young rider. You know, some days just nothing can go right, and he's having one of those days, and it's tough to see after a good weekend he was having.
He was able to finish inside the top 5 yesterday. He finished 5th and was coming off of a 4th place finish back at Road America. But we're going to go back up front now, because Rocco Landers, the dominance that he had all weekend long through each of the sessions, setting track records and qualifying as well as at race pace yesterday, and the rest of the field just trying to catch up with him. But you said it this morning, them being able to catch and watch and race with Rocco Landers is going to do nothing but improve them no matter what happens here today.
This is going to be huge for them, and when Rocco looks back, he's going to see the 27 there behind him now, closing that gap. Alessandro DiMario's doing a great job of trying to chase Rocco down, and we'll see if Rocco can, if he has a little bit in reserve, can he pick up the pace when he sees somebody's chasing him from the back?
As hard as he's had to push at the early parts of this race, it's different than the race that we saw yesterday. He was able to have that gap and control all of it, but he lost it a little bit early on in the opening laps, and he had to work those tires a lot harder than what he had to do yesterday. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to continue the dominance.
This is going to be a good lap for DiMario. See, Rocco now keeps looking back. He's kind of seeing what was happening behind him. 35.5 that last lap for Alessandro DiMario. That is an outright track record and race record that Rocco had yesterday previously at 35.8.
It's an outstanding lap for Alessandro DiMario. With that lap, he closed the gap down to under just about half a second behind, but you can see as they continue through this lap, he's closed it even more.
He's closed it even more, and he wants, you know, we've seen that aggressive pass Rocco put on him early, and he wants to make one as well.
Yeah, up until that point, we hadn't seen that level of aggression out here in the Twins Cup Championship, but we talked about it at the top of this show that there's only 2 races left after today, and if Alessandro DiMario is going to go and try and kill the momentum that Rocco Landers has, today's the day to do it.
Today's the day. What a great ride he's put in so far. Now he has the opportunity to set behind Rocco now, maybe for a lap, and he had to do all the work because he's going to make a move maybe on the inside. He's ready to make the pass right away.
Looking at timing and scoring, even with that impressive lap that DiMario had the last lap, he's even improved it more on this particular one. He went red in the first sector.
It's really good through there, and Rocco's really good through this part of the track. He's able to kind of pull back away, so we'll see if Rocco has a little bit left in his sleeve. Rossi Moore's doing a great job as well. You know, he's kind of keeping those 2 guys right there in front of him.
I was going to say, sitting right there watching all of this unfold and ready at any moment is Rossi Moore. And for Rossi, he's taking notes as well. You take a look on the screen. This is the live championship points as they run right now. If Rocco is able to get another win, he's going to extend that points lead by another 5 over Alessandro DiMario, and that gap would grow to 19. With 2 races left in this championship battle, Alessandro knows he needs to get around Rocco.
Yeah, and this next lap tender is where Alessandro's kind of set him up a couple laps before. You see Rocco, such a smart rider, knowing that and blocking it.
I loved what Rocco said earlier today. The Twins Cup will always have a special place in his heart. They're his favorite bikes to ride, and this bike in particular, the best one that he's ever had. So he's got a head full of confidence right now. He knows what he's capable of, and all he has to do is hold off the rest of the field. You see these two battling for the lead have been able to pull that gap out over Rossi Moore.
Rocco's doing a good job of, blocking those places and not leaving the door open to let Alessandro really make a pass. If Alessandro's going to make a move, he's going to have to try to make one pretty aggressive, or, the Aprilia's a little bit better top end, so maybe the draft to 1 and 2 if he can stay close like he has this lap.
As much action as we've already had in this 11-lap race, Roger. We're not even halfway there yet. We're only working lap number 5. So as these two riders come across, we're now starting the second half. And this is where the riders started talking yesterday about the back half of the race and how they didn't have quite enough, and have they saved it?
I don't know, but Alessandro, just like we thought, right there in turn 2, able to get on the inside of Rocco. Now it's going to be a braking contest down into turn 3. Rocco fights right back, but does he run wide? See Rocco looking over. Alessandro too, having to close that gap. Might have had to use a little bit more tire as well to catch Rocco as this race winds down, to run out of grip.
But these two right now, they're figuring out the strength of the other rider. We haven't seen them this close at all out on the racetrack in practice and in the qualifying sessions, and certainly not in the race yesterday.
Rocco keeps it tight here in this long right-hander. I see Alessandro always kind of looks like he wants to get up the inside of him, but Rocco just doesn't drift high enough. If Rocco slips up and drifts a little bit higher in that right-hander one of these laps, Alessandro is one of those places he keeps looking like he's trying to make a pass.
Such a young rider as Alessandro Di Mario just shows so much maturity, and he even said it, this is not one of his favorite places to come and race, but being able to have a battle like this and stay in contention with a rider like Rocco, this is certainly going to help the track's case a little bit.
Oh yeah, and also it's just going to help him this race, digging as deep as Alessandro's digging here to fight Rocco. This has been a great race, and we'll see. This is where Alessandro Di Mario, the lap before, you can see on the top end now the Aprilia is able to close up a little bit on the Suzuki.
Yeah, the last 3 laps, Alessandro Di Mario has just been quicker than Rocco Landers, but with the racecraft that Rocco is able to exhibit through all of the experience that he has, he's just got a couple of years on him in terms of being in these situations, and Alessandro's just got to figure out how to get around him.
Catching Rocco is one thing, but passing a guy like Rocco is another. But you see how close Alessandro is, just trying to force Rocco to make a mistake. We've seen him real fast through this left, try to get on the inside. Here, I don't know if he's close enough, but he does make it. But can he make it stick?
Yeah, he definitely was able to do it. Rocco, though, he's been watching as well, and now as Alessandro is able to pull away just enough, we still have 5 laps to go.
See Alessandro, how low he was, knee in the grass, was not going to open that door to let Rocco by. Rocco's really good at this last part of the track. The Suzuki changes directions really well through this fast left, right. Probably try to make a move if you can get close enough into 12.
So replay on the left-hand side of your screen. We saw this from the drone.
Rocco, last corner.
On the right-hand side, it's a live look at what's happening right now with Alessandro Di Mario being able to defend Rocco Landers. Rossi Moore getting a little bit closer to the back of this battle for the lead. These are your top 3 that are now 5 seconds clear of the rest of the field.
Yeah, these guys going back and forth, slowed up a couple tenths. But Rossi is doing a great race. His last lap was a 36.3, best lap 36.0, so his race pace is just so consistently quick.
With this lead change in Alessandro Di Mario now over Rocco Landers, you take a look at the live championship point standings as they run at this particular moment. You can see the difference that a win for Di Mario would have. It would close that points lead that Rocco has down to just 9. But with 4 laps to go, this is nowhere near over. Rocco seems to have settled in second for right now. Studying what DeMario is doing, and maybe with 4 laps to go, Rocco's smart, maybe saving just a little bit for the end.
Just watching and seeing where he's quicker at. Right here, he's going to go a little bit wide to try to get a good run through this chicane. Rocco's really good through here, coming out of this really fast corner, this left, right. You see how he closes the gap up right away. Rossi Moore's closing the gap up as well, and Rocco will try to make a pass. Last lap down into turn 12. Wasn't close enough.
Now you mentioned the advantage that Rocco has on the Suzuki over Alessandro DeMario and being able to change direction, but for him, Rossi Moore is also on a Suzuki right behind him, so he has that same advantage. In that last lap, Rossi Moore was 0.8 of a second faster than Rocco Landers to be able to close that gap.
He was a couple tenths quicker as well, so now he's right there within a little over half a second from the lead. So these two start battling a little bit more, he's going to be there.
Now Rocco can sit and watch for a lap or two, but with Rossi Moore as close as what he is, he can't sit back too far.
No, and from here, seems like where Alessandro's a little bit better than Rocco for right here in turn 4. It's just different lines. You see how much tighter Alessandro is on the exit. Rocco's a little bit wider down into this right-hander. Really fast through here, this next left-hander. Alessandro just seems really strong through this second sector and able to open a little bit of a gap.
Yeah, through that section of the racetrack, looking at timing and scoring, Alessandro DeMario went red in that second sector, and he was 0.2 of a second faster than Rocco Landers just right there on this lap. And certainly one of his strong points, but Rocco's watching it. He's studying.
He's studying, and Rocco's trying to figure out a place where he can make a pass toward the end of the race. You know, he's kind of looked a couple times behind him where he can get close enough. This left-hander through turn 12, he's been close. The inside on the last corner would be a place to watch as well, but he better look out. Rossi Moore is going to be trying to make a pass on Rocco before long.
Rossi Moore finished 3rd in the race yesterday with Alessandro DeMario in 2nd. So we have the same 3 riders in contention for those 3 steps on the podium. They've been able to pull away from the rest of the field. Gus Rodeo sitting in 4th right now, but he has 10 seconds back on the racetrack. So it's these 3 right now with 2 laps remaining in the second Twins Cup race of the weekend. And for these riders, it's time now to start making those moves and make them stick.
And lap traffic starting to come into lap traffic here. So we've seen that play a matter in a couple of races yesterday. They all seem to get through there pretty good. Not only any of them got held up.
I believe that was Rodney Best that those riders were coming around. He was very heads up and letting this battle for the lead go on by without impacting any of it, as these 3 riders are now winding down.
Alessandro DeMario's did an amazing job this race once he's got out in the lead, with Rocco hounding him like this, not making a mistake, really feeling that pressure from Rocco this whole race, the speed that he's going and not making any mistakes. He's got one more lap. Rocco got in a little bit deep. You've seen that.
All right, as they're coming around, you can see the white flag waving. We are beginning the final lap of this 11-lap race. And for Rocco Landers, you see him sitting in 2nd. He has sat there patiently after Alessandro DeMario made that pass. It is time to be patient no more as Rocco Landers makes the move around. And here on the last lap, Roger, he waited.
He waited and knew where he was faster. You talk about Rocco being smart. Now we're going to see if Alessandro DeMario can make the pass, but Rossi Moore wants to make a move as well.
Rossi Moore sat behind the 2 of them. He watched both of them. He knew exactly where DeMario was quick. He knew where Landers had an advantage, and he waited until the last lap. And with Rocco now out in the lead, Rossi Moore wants to move up a step on that podium.
Yeah, and Alessandro DeMario was able to get that pass back, but you can see those 2 going back and forth. It gave Rocco a little bit of breathing room.
Just a little bit for Rocco Landers, but as we get through this lap, it was Alessandro DeMario who had been quicker each lap prior on the back half of this racetrack. So for Rocco Landers, he's got to put his head down and just be able to defend on this final lap.
Just not leave the door open through that right-hander. See how low he's staying, and from here, Rocco's bike, he's been strong in the race. And you see how they come out of the chicane there through this fast left, right. Rocco's able to open up a couple bike lengths again, and now Alessandro DeMario's going to have to worry about Rossi Moore.
Said it yesterday, when Rocco puts that leg out, you know how comfortable he's feeling. And for Rocco Landers, he sat back in second place. He waited patiently for his turn to make the move. He made that pass. He made it stick as Rocco Landers takes the win in race number 2 for the Twins Cup here at Brainerd International Raceway. Big round of applause from everybody over at the Revzilla. Vance and Hines, you see the number 96 of Gus Rodeo in 4th place, some 10 seconds behind that battle that we saw unfolding for the podium. And Dominic Doyle there on the number 25, bringing his bike home. And if he can make around this last turn without any incident, Dominic Doyle will go home with 5th place points today. See Rocco Landers collecting the American flag. Is that Stoney?
I'm not sure.
I can't see his face, but
yeah, it is
Stoney. Look, Father's Day picture, and we used to see Stoney out at the track celebrating each weekend as Rocco's crew chief. Not this year, as Rocco has made that move over to Vance and Hines, and Stoney getting to celebrate as a race fan today. How cool is that, being there to watch his son win on Father's Day?
The back flip.
And he stuck the landing there for the fans. Look at Stoney with the phone out, recording all of it. I'm sure we're going to see it on Instagram later on today. What a cool moment for Rocco.
What a cool moment. That was just a great race from all 3 of those guys. But Rocco used that experience. You said it, as the laps were winding down. Rocco's being patient and going to find a place on that last lap. And it's just really cool to see Rocco's dad out there on Father's Day to celebrate this win on track with him, something that they haven't got to do. And think about Rocco, talks about his dad a lot, all the sacrifices and miles driven to get Rocco where he is today.
You saw Stoney there as he handed off the flag to Rocco wipe some of that emotion off of his face. It certainly it means a lot to him, and certainly all of the effort and everything that the family sacrificed over the years to put Rocco in a position for somebody like Terry Vance to take notice of it and say, you know what, this kid has the background and I want him as part of my team. And it's a proud moment. Here, Rocco Landers not only doing a backflip off the wall, but in full leathers, Roger.
Yeah, and the hair flip as well afterwards.
Rocco will make his way over to celebrate at the podium.
BellissiMoto Twins Cup is brought to you by BellissiMoto, where the biggest names in custom bike building shop for parts. And by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
And the beautiful shots here continue. Rocco Landers bringing the stars and stripes with him back over to the podium. Oh, he's going to pick up Avery Dreyer, who has been waiting out along the racetrack as well after the unfortunate incident that he had earlier on and not being able to get that bike refired. But good sportsmanship for Rocco to pick up his friend.
Rocco's doing bike flips, taxi rides, he's doing it all.
And he still has a Mission King of the Baggers race to go later on this afternoon. You saw our podium finishers there. Rocco Landers taking home another victory today. Alessandro DeMario, a solid podium result for him as well, finishing second after that tremendous battle that he had at the front all race long. And then Rossi Moore being there to capitalize and finish ahead of everyone else for that 3rd step on the podium.
Yeah, and that was an awesome ride by Rossi Moore there, just able to match those guys' lap times. Talking about his confidence growing as the season's gone on, and he's there, man. That was a really impressive ride to be able to close down the gap to those 2 guys.
As Rocco continues to make his way over to celebrate, let's take a look at these highlights.
Yeah, the start looked like the same start as yesterday, with Rocco Landers getting a really good start, and also Rossi Moore from the 2nd row able to get a good start. Alessandro DeMario did not want Rocco to get out front and try to make a move Rocco runs wide, but watch this pass. Wow. Rocco came from deep, and you can see how far back Alessandro DeMario went. All the way back out to fifth, so now he had some work to do. Gets past his teammate Gus Rodeo next in the list. Rossi Moore making a pass there, and now he had to close down to Rocco Landers. But catching Rocco is one thing, but can he make a pass? And he was able to, through turn 2, get on the inside and put himself in the right spot down into turn 3. Rocco fights back like we knew he would. Alessandro DeMario, these two put on a show this race, going back and forth, but Rocco knew where his strong suits was as the race was winding down, makes the pass into turn 2, able to get the win to extend his points lead. Alessandro DeMario second, Rossi Moore third.
And with that second place finish for Alessandro DeMario, also let's not forget that he set the new race lap record of 35.5 for DeMario, so that's another gift that he gets to take home with him as well. Rocco's made his way over to get ready for his interview. Take a look at the full results here. We've got Rocco Landers leading over the rest of the field. Alessandro DeMario, Rossi Moore, the top 3. But Gus Rodeo and Dominic Doyle being able to finish in the top 5 in terms of points, that's great for them.
Yeah, still got some points. And also a great ride for Sean Unvarsky there. Another top 6 for him. Jeff Bean, 7th. Jeffrey Perk, 8th. All those guys had a good ride.
Yes, Joseph Bittner rounding out our top 9. Let's take a look at the championship points now and the way they look after these results. Alessandro DeMario now sitting 19 points behind in second. Gus Rodeo able to make up a little bit of ground, and 50 points back. We only have 2 race days remaining.
Only 50 points left up for grabs.
Let's go ahead and get down to Joe Ankier and hear from our top 3 finishers. Joe?
Rocco Landers, that's a double-double, clean sweep of the Stock 1000 races so far. It wasn't easy out there today, though, was it? And celebrations with your father, too. How much does that mean to you?
No, that was a good one for me. I mean, this kid's got 2 things. He got motor, but he also got an insane amount of talent. He is absolutely one of the rising stars in this championship. I am so happy to be able to race with him and share some of these moments. He's absolutely killing it. But I gotta say, give a shout out to my dad. It's Father's Day. Happy to bring the win home for him. My whole team, my chassis mechanic Matt, my bagger mechanic Quentin, our truck drivers Ray and Roy, fab guy Josh, crew chief Steve, Terry Vance, everybody who helps me. This is a good moment for me. I mean, Revit, HJC, Foo Sports, your bike school, everybody who helps me out.
Your Twins Cup champion there for race day 2 and for race day 1 yesterday, Rocco Landers. Let's move on to Alessandro DeMario, 15 years old and taking it on with the leader there, Rocco Landers. Tell me about the self-belief you have and what this means for you and your season going forward.
Yeah, it really means everything. I didn't really expect to be up here this weekend. I'm not really a big fan of this track, so I've never really gone fast here, so it was a really big step up, you know. And I just rode my heart out. I did everything I could do. The bike felt amazing. You know, it's a little hard getting these things turned around here and getting them to flip from side to side. So, and they're not really good on tires either. So by the end of the race, my tire was absolutely done. But I just want to congratulate Rocco and Rossi. They rode amazing. Like, the race pace was crazy. And I want to thank all my sponsors, AJC, Dineasy, you know, my team, Robin, Matt, Kevin, Mike, Chad, everybody that's helped me out. Thank you. And happy Father's Day. Sorry, Dad.
And you won't be sorry. You did incredibly well, swapping that leader back and forth there. Well, to round out your Twins Cup podium, 3rd place, Rossi Moore, podium again this weekend. And you won the Junior Cup here last year as well, so you like it out here, don't you? Tell me your thoughts and feelings on another 3rd place.
You know, it was definitely a hard-fought third place. I took what we learned from yesterday and tried to apply it today. They broke off away from me a little bit, but as the race was going on, I feel like I had more tire than them, so I was able to close the gap, and it was a battle for them for the lead. Sadly, they just had a little more than me. You know, these guys are all top-level racers. You know, I'm just so glad to be able to race a competition like them and pushing them all the time. And, you know, I just can't thank everybody enough who's helped me. John, Chris, Jesse, Jorgen, Brian. Happy Father's Day to my dad and all the other dads. I just want to thank all my sponsors and everybody who gets me here. JD Moto, Polyglass USA, Team M4XR Suzuki, Mission Foods, everybody else is on my leathers, Dionysus Leathers. Just thanking everybody who's helped me get me to this position. Thank you.
We're going to be seeing a lot more from this guy, that's for sure. That's your podium for the Twins Cup. Congratulations. Back to you, Jamie and Roger.
Thank you, Joe. So much youth up there, but so much maturity. And the words from Rocco Landers and winning himself saying these kids are going to be here for a long run. Congratulations to Rocco Landers on the victory today. We're going to step away. We'll be right back right after this.